Welcome back to part 2 of Poker Heaven, all in Barcelona, where we're at Cap, and I found a nice little place to possibly hide when the partying gets that bit too much. Still to come on the show, we take a tour of the city and find out what else Barcelona has to offer, and return to the tables for the conclusion of the ASOP. But first, it's time for another catch-up with Mr. Brunson. Obviously, poker players have their ups and downs. At the moment, who do you think stands out as being one of the greatest poker players?
Well, it's like I say, I think there's probably 200 guys that there's not 1/10 of 1% difference. I think if I had to single out one particular player, it would be Chip Reese. He just has a composure about him that most people don't have, and I've played against him for 30-something years, and he's given me more trouble than anybody else.
Now, you see, if you have a weakness, like, what is your poker weakness, and how do you hide it from people?
I think people's weakness, and probably it was my strength, was being able to stay for a long time.
Stamina.
I was a distance runner when I was young, and I think it created a lot of stamina and endurance, and I'm very fortunate to, I'm 74 years old, that I can still compete with these young guys, and I'm very grateful.
Pretty amazing. Now, you were at WSOP Europe recently, and of course there was a very young lady, Annette, who obviously did very well. What do you think that's bringing to poker, getting some young female poker players?
I think that was very good for poker, because that shows everybody, that anybody can do it. Here's an 18-year-old girl. I don't know her personally, but I did see her while she was playing. She handled herself very well, which I really admire, people that handle themselves well, as opposed to some of these guys I think make a fool out of themselves. And so I think it's very good for poker.
But what does it mean to the professional players, obviously having people that they've never seen before come in and start winning tournaments? For the professional poker players, is that hard to take?
It's not hard to take, because there's a lot of these unknown poker players that have played more tournaments in the last year than I've played my entire life. So consequently, they're unknown, but they're very good. So it doesn't bother me.
Okay, so we were speaking about female players in poker, and what about Jennifer Harmon?
I think Jennifer's probably the best lady poker player in the world. She's a very dear friend of mine. But, when we're at the table, we're fierce competitors, even though we're, really close. But, she'd win my last chip, but I would hers too. So that's what poker's all about, you know.
Obviously, I heard your speech, and you've got some amazing stories from your time playing poker. But can you tell us one of maybe the craziest times that when you've been playing poker, something crazy that's happened to you?
Well, I know the thing that I remember most is when a guy got shot.
I think you'd remember that.
Yeah. There was two tables in this card room, and a guy just walked in nonchalantly, and just the guy was sitting not at my table, but right across from me. And he just walked up to him and put a gun right up to his head and just pulled the trigger. I have nightmares still.
Oh my God.
That guy's brain splattered back across the wall.
What did everyone do?
Obviously, what did everybody do? We all ran.
As fast as you could. How old were you?
I think I was about 23.
Oh my God.
And naturally it was over a woman.
Do you think poker's become a little bit more relaxed since those days?
Well, yeah, it has. It's, you're playing now, you play in secured areas, and something like that would be very hard to happen now.
Yeah. Oh, and what is the greatest aspect, do you think, to poker? Why is it so big? Why do the players love it so much?
Well, as a professional, it's the freedom. I mean, you're like a cloud floating around up in the sky. You don't have any boss. You do what you want. You play when you want, and you don't have to answer to anyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you for speaking to us. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. So as new partnerships are formed, it is time to take a break and find out a bit more about this beautiful city. Originally founded as a Roman city, Barcelona has developed into a major economic centre. housing one of Europe's principal Mediterranean ports. Now, its culture stems back over 2,000 years and can be seen throughout the city in its palaces, architecture and paintings. It's also played host to some memorable sporting occasions, including the 1982 Football World Cup and the 1992 Olympic Games. Join me as we go and take a look around the city. La Rambla is one of the iconic streets and serves as the city's emotional hub. The 1.2-kilometre long pedestrian road is full with artists, cafes and market stalls and is popular with both tourists and locals alike. Architect Antoni Gaudi's work can be seen throughout the city. However, he is best known as the mastermind of this magnificent building just behind me, La Sagrada Familia. Work started in 1882, but believe it or not, as you can see, it's still not finished. Much controversy surrounds the building, as many believe Gaudi himself would not approve of the differing materials being used to complete the temple. The contrast in the colour of stone and the style is clear between the front and rear of the building. Right, we've come to the National Art Museum of Catalonia, which used to be a palace, but now it contains some of the most important works from the first half of the century. And an awful lot of steps. I'll see you at the top. What? You didn't actually think I was going to walk up? The museum houses collections from Romanesque, Gothic, Renaissance and Baroque art. Many tourists flock to the top for the culture, the music and the stunning views of the city. Barcelona is famous for its nightlife, and everyone here at CAP seems to have taken full advantage of what the city has to offer. Right, as you can see just behind me, we've got quite a few people gathered for the final table of the ASOP poker tournament, where they're playing for $5,000 and that bracelet, which I've actually just seen, and it's encrusted with diamonds. Play was cagey as the 7 finalists tried to suss one another out. Any raise was followed by a quick fold, as no one wanted to jeopardise their chances of becoming the 2007 ASOP champion. Well, it's all about the bracelet, isn't it? I hear it's all about that.
It is. They want to win that bracelet, and it's bragging rights as well, isn't it? Really, we've got a previous winner, Mikko Lang, so he's obviously one of the favourites. There are some other really strong players. All the players here, I was watching all the tables, and there's going to be some really good play. It's represented by a lot of different nationalities, Italian, German, some Scandinavian as well. So it's across the board. So it's going to be fun.
After the blinds had reached their 4th level, Gianluca Fanazzi pot-committed Christoph Deckers by re-raising him with pocket queens. The young player had no option but to call, and once again proved that the poker gods were smiling upon him as the king came on the flop. It wasn't until the end of the first hour that we were to lose our first player. Joris Decker pushing all in with ace-jack, only to be called by Ruben Iglesias' big slick. A jack on the turn, proving to all that luck was to play a major factor at this final table, and they all knew it. Struggling with his short stack, Gianluca Fanazzi decided to make a stand on the button with his Queen-2 offsuit. A good call by Riccardo left the friendly Italian in bad shape, and with no deuce on the board, it was an early exit.
A couple of queens, out with a couple of queens, not possible.
Very, very nice, special table. For me, it's important to arrive at the final table. That was the minimum objective for me. And the 6th place is at least a good place.
But I tell you what though, diamonds, they don't look good on a man.
Yes. Women look diamonds and men don't look diamonds, but this bracelet a little bit.
The ruthless blinds took their toll on all, including reigning champion Mikko Lang, who after successfully making it to the final table for a 2nd year running, was forced all in with 5-6 offsuit. His live cards could not find a pair, and he finished the tournament in 5th place. At any 4-handed table, an ace is a welcome sight, and at this turbo event, it is a gift. After looking down at ace-9, Christoph pushed all in, only to be called by a higher ace. A low flop and a deuce on the turn, giving Mr. Decker more outs, which he miraculously hit to save his tournament life for a 2nd time. Shortly later, Joris gambled his tournament life by placing his chips across the line with a weak ace. His untimely move led to his 4th place exit, as Riccardo's jack kicker proved decisive. Three-handed play did not last long as the blinds took yet another victim. Ishai was forced to commit his chips after barely affording the big blind and waited in vain from the sidelines as the other contestants battled it out for the side pot. And so we were heads up and Ricardo's massive chip lead towered across the felt. But poker is anything but scripted, and his young opponent, proving once again to be blessed by the poker gods, doubled through several times to take the chip lead. The final hand came after Ricardo called Christoph's all-in with Queen 10. 2 pairs on the board and a king kicker was enough to clinch the title for the young champion. Do you know what they say? Diamonds are a girl's best friend, Christoph.
I know, and you wanna take it?
I do, it's beautiful. Are you going to actually wear it or just put it on your mantelpiece?
No, I think sometimes I have to wear it, of course. I mean, it looks beautiful. Maybe not every day, but for the next for sure. It's fantastic, I'm really happy.
So congratulations to all affiliates who made the final table, but it's Christoph Decker who takes top prize, $5,000 and the ASOP bracelet encrusted with 170 diamonds. Right, so it's the end of Cap, everybody's packing everything away and going off to party, which is where we're going as well. So I'm Anna Fowler and we'll see you next time.